and ranking members and the entire banking committee. My name is Senator Dan Champagne, and I'm here with Deb McCoy and Gretchen Shea. We are here in support of House Bill number 5425, an act concerning mortgage forbearance for owners of homes with crumbling foundations. Just to give a brief on that, basically when the homes are being repaired, they would like a 3-month freeze on their mortgage. This is not a discount or anything like that. This money will be added on to the end of the mortgage. There's a lot of transition that goes on during the repair time, and this will help because they have to go get a new place to live and all the other expenses associated with this. So I'm going to start with Gretchen Shea.
Thank you for hearing my testimony. I'm Gretchen Shea, and I live in Vernon, Connecticut, and I do have a condominium with a Crumbling foundation. I became very interested in the aspect of forbearance because I have 32 homeowners who live in my complex that will have to leave their condominium for up to 3 months. And we are looking for any aspect that we can to help them out. And the use of forbearance is it's a tool that has existed, since the beginning of time, where banks cooperate with the homeowner and the lender because it is the best for all of them. They know that they're in dialogue with the whoever has the loan with them. They know what the circumstances are, and they're able to review the situation and see that it's a very low-risk situation. Now, my understanding is from when I was talking to both Art Corey and Tom earlier that forbearance actually exists for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae loans, the federal government, and it even considers this type of situation to be one that forbearance can be granted. I went and read the documentation that is out there for them, and there is this held up. I have to say that the information that I found was not easy to find, nor was it straightforward in terms of it. It left an enormous amount up, not to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, but to the lending institution itself, which means that all the lending institutions have to act consistently if they're going to give that to us. And what I've found that doesn't happen. There is just not a good understanding. Therefore, I support this bill because even for the subset of credit unions and banks that this would apply to, it would be very clear instructions given to them. They would be able to understand that it is a reasonable item to do. It is incredibly important to the homeowner because there is no impact to their credit rating. They are able to do it, and it may not be something that does, but it would be a huge benefit not to have to pay both of a mortgage and rent during this time. Thank you.
Questions?
Any other questions from members? Representative Delnicki, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your testimony pertaining to that bill because, quite frankly, we're talking about people through no fault of their own that have been solid citizens, that have been paying their bills right along, and they were living the American dream until the American dream started to crumble underneath them, are trying to put their lives back together. And you're right, it does not cost the financial institution one penny because they get their money maybe 3 months later, 4 months later, depending on how long it takes to actually repair the home. But nonetheless, they have an opportunity to find that lodging that they need for their family during that period of time. Is that pretty much correct?
From all my research that says yes. And there's actually some other alternatives. You basically extend the loan. So let's say your loan payoff day would be 2030 June. Your loan payoff day is September 2030. Another option actually is that you can extend the loan. I mean, there's always, in forbearance, there's also, and that's usually for different disasters, different situations. But those are basically the two arrows in the quiver. You just either extend it by 3 months, or they realize that you've been a good customer, it's an extraordinary situation, that therefore in the dialogue, they have different time periods that they can do, which may actually, I haven't thought about that. That would be hugely beneficial for condominiums, which may end up with increased fees and increased special assessments during this time frame, that there may be even more opportunities for the banks to participate in restoring real estate value, and they should be very, very interested in getting these homes back, back to put full value, because it just improves their bottom line if it becomes a good asset again.
And I agree with that, because their asset right now isn't there. So by getting these homes repaired, the asset is put back in place. Right now, we're having a lot of people walk away from these homes, and that's going to be that's just going to create more and more problems for the banks themselves.
Senator, first of all, I want to commend you for being a co-chair on the Crumbling Foundation Caucus and your work on the issue that we both have been dealing with for several years now. Is it safe to say that if you have a hot spot of homes with crumbling foundations, there's actually a ripple effect when it comes to property values, which in turn then causes a financial institution to have other properties in that area that they may have written loans on or home equity loans on, place them in jeopardy?
Yes, that is true. In fact, I introduced Deb McCoy, but she's going to be a little later. Right now, we're talking about Ryefield. That's where Gretchen lives, and so does Deb McCoy. And when you look at the values of Ryefield, even those that are not affected, the values have dropped. So you go into a neighborhood where there's one house, the entire neighborhood's affected, because when people find out there's one, they naturally assume it's all when it's not.
So,
I will interrupt just a little detail there. So our range of sales over the last 2 years have gone from 30,000, some of them, and the highest sale that we have had has been 75,000. Most of the people bought their home for around 130,000.
so then it's more than just having one individual put their life back together, or one family, or one condominium, or one home. Offering the opportunity of forbearance would benefit virtually everyone in the area, because it makes it easier for that person to actually, or that family, to put their lives back together, get the foundations repaired, and as a municipal leader wearing two hats, Mr. Mayor or Mr. Senator, I'm not sure which I should refer to you as right now, it brings back money on the tax rolls, and we know up here how tight it is having money going down to the cities and towns.
Right. And with my mayor's hat, we've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, just this complex, we've lost a considerable amount.
Well, thank you for your testimony, and thank you to the chairs for the opportunity to ask a few questions.
Thank you.
Anyone else with a question? I do want more of a statement, but I know one of our concerns is, do you happen to know what bank holds your mortgage for the complex
Oh, no, all the mortgages are held individually.
individually?
Okay, so that's a very different question about the loans that the association has. Okay, that's not.
No, that's not my line of reasoning.
That's a very different
Yeah, my
thing.
concern
They're all
is,
individual mortgages.
my concern is the purview of the committee is on Connecticut banks. And
Correct, it's a narrow
institutions.
one, and
So-
that's why my testimony was important. It is a very important thing, even just the Connecticut banks, because there's actually a whole other population out there in the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae supported banks that will also forbearance, but that information is not consistently applied. So if we get it for the Connecticut banks, we have a real opportunity then to
Okay.
make sure that
Just
people
want to
know
make
the
sure
Fannie Mae and
you were
Freddie Mae.
aware of that.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And on my way out, I just want to say that House Bill number 5049, I'm not in support of it in the current form. Thank you.